Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am coming back with a story time because I haven't done a story time in I want to say months. So this is probably one of the funniest stories I have from my childhood, but the most embarrassing one. And you might be thinking, oh Shay, like what the heck? The video is titled I Almost Drowned, how is that funny? It's because I almost drowned inside a kiddie pool. I'm talking, it was a big pool, but probably if you like stuck your hand down in the water, it wouldn't even come up to your elbow. It'd probably hit somewhere around here, or maybe even closer to here. So like it was just this very shallow amount of water that no one should ever be able to drown in. Obviously, like I think they say like a tablespoon or two of water can drown you, but the situation that happened should have never happened, and it's partly my fault, but I believe that it was mostly the fault of the lifeguards who were on duty and didn't pay attention to me. So let me just set up the scene so you understand where I'm coming from. So this kiddie pool, it was at a water park in my hometown, and I don't remember exactly how old I was. I know that I was younger than 10 because my mother had not yet been remarried. And I know that it's sometime before my grandmother stopped working, because my mom was at work at the time and my grandmother was at the work at the time, which was mean I was left alone with my great grandmother, who I called Granny. So I want to say this was probably between the ages of 5 and 7, maybe 5 and 8, somewhere along those lines. But it was definitely a time where it was still okay for me to be in the kiddie pool that I almost drowned in. It wasn't like I had no reason being there. It was just bad things happen. Although I am now the very small height of 5'4", that wasn't always the case. I was actually growing up until about middle school. I was always like in the top 3 for tallest in my class, and always like the first or second tallest girl. So I was a tall kid growing up. I just stopped growing and didn't get as tall as the doctors thought I would. So that being said, although I was still this young age where it was okay to be in the kiddie pool, I was at a height that made some of the playground area in it not very accessible to me. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. It was kind of like a castle. Like there was this pool all around it, and then in the middle there was this just big tower of playground material. And at the very top there was like a bucket that would splash over on you once it filled up. But like one side you would climb up on a rope, and on the other side there were stairs. Down the front was a green swirly slide that was open on the top, so it was easy to go down, and I could honestly probably still go down it today, but you're not allowed in the kiddie pool and I wouldn't want to be there anyways. But there was that, and then on the side under the stairs there was a little tunnel that you could crawl to get to the other side, and on the other side was a set of stairs, I think, and you would go down a red slide, and it was mostly straight down, but it was red, I remember that, and it was covered, so it was completely enclosed. So my granny, I convinced her to take me. It took forever. Like, I'd been begging her for days and days to go, and she finally took me. That was the first time she took me that summer, and it was the last time she took me that summer. Actually, the last time she ever took me in her life in general. Just because she got so mad at me. We actually left as soon as the incident happened. But she blamed me, and that was it. I felt like really, really sad because I thought I was in trouble, but I mean, I almost drowned. So I can't really feel too bad about that. So, I'm just in the kiddie pool playing around. Granny's there. It's not like she left me. My parents and grandparents were always really protective of me. Not like some parents are today where they'll just let their kid go out and do anything they want whenever. So she was still in the pool area, but like she didn't know exactly where I was. She wasn't following me around the kiddie pool. So I am playing, as you would be if you were in this kiddie pool. I decided to climb up and go down this really, it wasn't tall. For me it was tall because I was a kid, but still I was tall. I decided, oh yeah, I can totally fit in this slide. I'm going to go down. So I go down it, and no problem with that. I didn't get stuck or anything. It was a very short ride though, since like I said, I was tall. I get to the bottom of it, and that's like, okay, awesome, I'm gonna do it again, or I'm gonna go run to do something else. So I'm laying on my back, and then I sit up, and because again I was tall, the roof of the slide was not big enough to allow me to sit fully up, but I did, and I did it so fast that I actually hit my head really hard against the top. And when that happened, it pushed me back down, and I hit the back of my head really hard when I came back down. So sit up, bang, back, bang. And at that point, like, it hurt so bad, and my head was just started pounding that I was just laying there. And of course, whenever it happened, the way I landed, the water was literally just right above my nose. That's what this is called. The water was just above my nose, and so obviously I was going to breathe in the water, or I was just not going to get any air. I have no idea how long I kind of laid there, but I do remember almost blacking out. I mean, I could have just been under for a few seconds, and it could just be from the head that I blacked out. But the way this was happening, like I said, my nose was under the water, and because I said this is so shallow, that means that I was all the way at the bottom of the slide, which means from about halfway down my stomach down, my legs were sticking out of the water. And you think that's something a lifeguard would notice if a pair of legs was just laying there, because I think this situation could have gotten a whole lot worse had someone been up top and tried to go down after me, because they would have just pushed me and hit me again. So there should have been a lifeguard checking on that. And there actually, once I got out of the slide, we'll talk about how we got to that point later, I could see that there was a lifeguard right next to the slide that just, I guess he wasn't paying attention. So yeah, I'm laying there, I'm underwater, and I just kind of black out, and I'm not gonna say that I had like a after-death experience or something like that, but there was like my eyelids got really bright, and I'm assuming it could have been from the sun, or maybe it was because I was kind of just like going that way out. But almost as soon as I saw like the brightness, I felt someone pull me. And my granny, she was always an able woman, but it's just so funny that she had to drag my body out of the water. And so like she does that, and that like wakes me up, and so I sit up and I just start coughing up, like trying to breathe and everything, and she starts yelling at me, like, I've been looking for you and I didn't know where you went, blah blah, and I'm just like, Granny, I almost drowned. And she doesn't believe me. She thinks that I was trying to hide from her or something so that I didn't have to go home. And then that's when I look over and see the lifeguard, and I was like, well, if he would have been doing his job, we wouldn't have got here. Because even though I was really little, it was really argumentative. But yeah, that's the story about how I almost drowned. I don't even know, man. There could have been so many things that prevented it, obviously. Like, I shouldn't have been going down the slide in the first place because I was so tall, but also the lifeguard should have been doing his job, and they should have had another lifeguard actually up on the playground set checking to make sure that people went down the slide and were out before another person came down. because I do have another story. I didn't almost drown, but I was on this water slide and the lifeguard wasn't doing his job, and he told me to go ahead without actually looking to see if anyone was down there. And there were two girls, and I don't know what the heck they were doing, but they were just standing up at the bottom of the slide, and of course by the time I'm going down, I can't stop myself, and so I just like plummet right through them, and hit the back of my head really hard where my shunt is. I'm not going to explain what that is. Maybe someday I'll make a video about it, but yeah. I love swimming, and I was a really good swimmer as a kid, but I never really got to go swimming after that because my granny just wouldn't take me. I don't know if she was afraid that I was going to almost drown, or if she really thought that I was lying to her and that I was just trying to get away from her. But I think about that story a lot. I don't know why, but yeah. Lately, I've just been telling you guys all the stories about my suffering. I don't know why. Well, I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you in the next video. So